Hari Om Rohit.
It says,
Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidwaram. Om Parthaya Pratibhu. I'm sorry, I'm thinking of Gita. Okay. Okay, we have to think of Sri Ramchandraji, right? Not Sri Krishna Bhagavan now. Okay. Neelambujasyamalakomalangam Sita Samaropitavamabhagam Panau Mahasayakacharuchapam Namami Ramam Raghuvamshanatham Atulita Baladhamam Hema Shailabhadeham Dhanujavan Krushanam Jnaninam Agraganyam Sakala Gunanidhanam Vanaranam Adhisham Raghupati Priya Bhaktam Vatajatam Namami Namah Shri Tulasi Dasa Sadvarishtaya Dhimate Puritam Hrudayam Yena Rama Premamrute Name. Hari Om. Okay. I was still in the Jyotiji's Bhagavad Gita class, I guess. So Parthaya came to my mind. It's all right. Okay, both are same. Krishna is Rama, Rama is Krishna. Okay, so what we were seeing in the last class when we finished, here Kakabhushundi is explaining what is Maya and what is Maya's parivara, its sambandhis. So in the Doha 71, A and B, Kakabhushundi said, Vyapahi rahevu samsaramohu Maya kataka prachanda. So Maya's the samsara, that is its army, is spread over the whole universe. Maya samsara, whole samsara. Senapati Kamadibata Damba Kapata Pashanda. Who are the Senapatis? So we saw the three Senapatis, we say air chief, navy chief, and the army chief. And what are those? Is the Damba, Kapata, and Pashanda. And so dasi raghubirakai samuje mitya sopi. So, but in under Bhagavan, this Maya is only a servant. It is under him, and it is mithya actually. It is not. It's not really true. Maya is not there. Okay, and I said, explained to you what mithya is in the last class, where it doesn't have its own power. Okay, it is borrowed power from the Bhagavan. That's what it is. Chutuna Rama Krupabino Natakahu Padaropi. So without the grace and blessings of Bhagavan, when we are pervaded with Maya, it is not going to go. If you want to get rid of the Maya, it is only surrendering to Bhagavan, then alone you will be able to get rid of Maya. Okay, so now I forgot to do this Satpancha. So let's go ahead and do the Satpancha and then continue with our Sri Ramcaritamanas. Okay, Priya, you think you can chant?
next week.
Next week. Okay. Okay. So, Kumud, do you know from which sloka to which sloka you should chant about the Satpanch?
It's the 3.
No, you are muted, Amma.
This is the one after you just finished, right? So it's Jomaya.
No. This is Satpanch that we are talking about, the full Ramayana that Kakabhushan told Garudji.
I don't have that. I don't have
Okay.
that in my book.
Okay. Look in the WhatsApp group. Okay. I have posted those things.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So
Okay.
actually it is in the Ramayana only. You start from the Doha 64. So I will send that to you. So next week you'll be ready for that one. Okay.
Got the Doha 64, yeah.
Okay, so before the Droha 64, you start with Pratamahi Ati Anuraga Bhavani. 3 lines before the Doha 64.
Oh, I see it, yeah.
Okay,
Pratham,
and,
yeah.
and 1 second. And when you finish the Doha, you don't do, Jaikars. You just continue chanting. Shri
Okay, how long?
Ramachandra Bhagwan ki jai, all those things you don't do. You just continue until you come down to 68.
68. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
I got it.
So go ahead and chant then.
प्रथम ही अति अनुराग भवानी रामचरित सर कहे सी बस बखानी पुनित नारद कर मोह अपारा कहे सी बहुरी रावण अवतारा प्रभु अवतार कथा पुनि अगाई तब सी सुचरित कहे सी मन लाई बाल चरित कही विविधि विधि मन महम परम अच्छाई ऋषि आगमन कहे सिपुनी श्री रघुवीर विवाह बहुरी राम अभिषेक प्रसंगा पुनि पुनि उपवचन राज रस भंगा पूर्वा सिंह कर बिरह विषादा कहे श्री राम लक्ष्मण संवाद विपिन गमन के वट अनुराग सुरसुरी उतरी निवास प्रयाग वाल्मीक प्रभु मिलन बखाना चित्रकूट जिमि बसे भगवान सचिवाग वन नगर नूपमरना भरता गवन प्रेम बहु बरना करी करी नृप क्रिया संग पुरवासी भरत गए जहाँ प्रभु सुख राशि पुनि रघुवती बहु विधि समुजाए ले पादुका अवधपुर आए भरत रहन सुरपति सुत करनी प्रभु अरु अत्रि बेट पुनि बरनी कही विराट बद जेहि विधि देह तजी सरभंग बरन सुती जन प्रीति प्रभु अगस्त्य सतसंग कही दंडक बन पावन ताई गिद मंडी पुनि तेहि गाई पुनि प्रभु पंचवटी कृत भाषा बंजी सकल मुनि कृति त्रासा पुनि लक्ष्मण उपदेश अनूप सुपर्णखा जिमि किन्ही कृपा खर दूषण बद बहुरी बखाना जिमि सब मरमु दसानन जाना दस कंदर मारिच कत कही जेहि विधि बई सौ जब तेहि कही पुनित माया सीता कर हरना श्री रघुवीर विरह कछु बरना पुनित प्रभु गिद क्रिया जिमि किन्ही बदिक बंद सबरिहि गति दिन्ही बहुरी बिरह बरनत रघुवीरा जेहि विधि गए सरोवर तीरा प्रभु नारद संवाद कहीं मारुति मिलन प्रसंग पुनि सुग्रीव मिताई बाली पार कर संगम कपिहि तिलक करि प्रभु कृतम सेल प्रबर्शन वाशम बरनन वर्षा शरद अरुण राम क्रोध कबित्राश।
जय श्री
जेहि विधि कपिपति किस पढ़ाए, सीता खोज सकल दिस गाये। बिबर प्रवेश किन्ह जेहि भ्राति, कपिन्हि बहोरी मिला संपाति। सुनि सब कथा समूह समीर कुमारा, नादत भयउ पयोसि अपारा। लंका कवि प्रवेश जिमि किन्हा, पुनिसित ही दिरजू जिमि दिन्हा। बन उजारि रावण नहीं प्रबोधि, पुर दहि न सेउ बहुरी प्रयोधि। आए कपि सब जय जहु रघुराई, वैदेही की कुशल सुनाई। सैन्य समेत जथा रघुवीरा, उत्तरे जाई बारी निधि तीरा। मिला विभीषण जेहि विधि आई, सागर निप्रह कथा सुनाई। सेतु बाधि कपि सेन जिनी, उतरी सागर पार। गयउ बसीठी वीर बर, जेहि विधि बाली कुमार। निशिचर की सरगाई, बर निशि विविध प्रकार। कुंभकर्ण धन नाद कर, बैल पौर संसार। निशिचर निकर मरण विधि नाना, रघुपति रावण समर बखाना। रावण बद मंदोदरी शोका, राज विभीषण देव अशोका। सीता रघुपति मिलन बहोरी, सुन किन्ही अरुति कर जोरी। पुनि पुष्पक चढ़ी कपिन समेता, अवध चले प्रभु कृपा निकेता। जेहि विधि राम नगर निज आए, बायस बिसद चरित सब गाये। कहे सि बहोरी राम अभिषेका, पुर बरनत कृप नीति अनेका। कथा समस्त भूषण बखानी, जो मैं तुम्हा सब नहीं भवानी। तुम्ही सब राम कथा खगनाहा, कहत बचन मन परम उचाहा। गायु मोर संदेह सुनेऊ, सकल रघुपति चरित। भयउ राम पद नेह तव, प्रसाद बायस तिलक। मोहि भयउ अति मोह, प्रभु बंदन रन महु निरखी। चिंदानंद संदोह राम, विकल कारण कवन।
सियावर रामचंद्र की जय,
पवन
पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। उमापति महादेव की जय, बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय। Thank you, Kumud. Thank you.
I'm glad to.
Okay, so as I said, Kakabhushandi is talking to Garudji, and he is talking about what is Maya, and he continues to describe Maya a little bit more. And so let us see what he describes now. This is after the Doha 71. It starts with Jo Maya Sab Jagahi Nachava. Okay. जो माया सब जग ही नचावा, जासु चरितल की काहू न पावा। सोई प्रभु भ्रू बिलास खगराजा, नाच नटी इव सहित समाज। सोई सच्चिदानंद घन राम, अज विज्ञान रूप बलधाम। व्यापक व्याप्य अखंड अनंत, अखिल अमोघ शक्ति भगवंत। अगुण अदभ्र गिरा गोतीत, सबदरसी अनवद्य अजीत। निर्मम निराकार निरमोह, नित्य निरंजन सुख संदोह। प्रकृति पार प्रभु सब उरबासी, ब्रह्म निरीह बिरज अविनाशी। इहाँ मोह कर कारण नाही, रवि सन्मुख तम कबहु की जाही। भगत हेतु भगवान प्रभु राम धरे तन भूप किए चरित पावन परमा प्राकृत नर अनुरूप जता अनेक बेश धरी नृत्य करई नट कोई सोई सोई भाव देखावई आपन होई न सोई सियावर रामचंद्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय उमापति महादेव की जय बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय. So Kakabhushani says, जो माया सब जग ही नचावा जासु चरितलकी काहु न पावा. जो Maya, that Maya which is making this jagahi nachava, making this whole world dance to her tune, jasu charitalaki kahuna pava, and whose nature, that Maya's nature, is not comprehended, it is not understood by anyone. So in Vivek Chudamani, Adi Shankaracharya defines what is Maya in 2 verses. Okay, and he says the nature of that Maya and the definition of Maya. He says, Avyakta namni paramesha shaktihi, anadya vidya trigunatmika para, karyanumeya sudiyaiva Maya, yaya jagat sarvamidam prasuyate. So this Maya is called unmanifest, avyakta. So you say, what do you mean by unmanifest? Maya pervades everyone, right? So what is this? See, when Maya is trigunatmika, we all know that. It is sattva, rajas and tamas. But when these 3 gunas, they are in perfect balance, okay, then there is no creation. So there is no manifest world. Only when there is imbalance in these 3, then the creation starts. So when there is the perfect balance is there, then it is avyakta namni. Okay, so it is known as unmanifest at that time. And then it is paramesha shakti, and this Maya is the power of the Lord. And anadya vidya, trigunatmika para. So she is without anadi. So there is no beginning, and she is made of 3 gunas. And it is to be inferred only by the one who has the clear knowledge, clear intellect from the effects it produces. Only from the effects you can say, oh, here is Maya. So without, if there is no effect, you cannot say there is Maya. And it is she, that Maya, who brings forth this whole universe. Jaya Jagat Sarvamidam Prasuyate. Prasuyate means she is the one which creates. And in the second verse, Adi Shankaracharya continues and he says, Sannapya Sannapyu Bhayatmikano, Bhinnapya Bhinnapyu Bhayatmikano, Sangapya Nanga Hayu Bhayatmikano, Mahadbhuta Anirvachaniya Rupa. So what is this? What is the lakshana of this Maya? Neither you can say it is Sat, neither you can say it is Asat, or you can say it is a mixture also. So you cannot really describe what it is. So neither you can say it is one with Brahman, or it is identical with Brahman, okay, or it is different from Brahman. So you cannot say that also here. So neither you can say it has a form, nor you can say it is formless. Only thing we can say about Maya is it's a Mahadbhuta. It is a wonder and Anirvachaniyam. It is unexplainable, unexplicable, and nobody can understand it also. So this is the Maya that Kakabhushani is talking to Garudji. And continuing, he says, Soyi Prabhu Bhru Bilasa Khagaraja Nacha Nati Iva Sahita Samaja. So Khagaraja, Garudji, this Maya is making us dance to her tune. That Maya dances, see, it is making us to dance to its tune. But that Maya dances to the tune of Bhagavan. Okay, so it cannot make Bhagavan get deluded. So Soyi Prabhu Bru Bilasa. Bru is this eyebrows, or you can say a side glance. So Bhagavan just looks at Maya by his side glance, and the Maya starts dancing. So in Bhagavad Gita, you see that Lord Krishna says, Maya Dyakshena Prakritihi Suyate Sacharacharam. Okay, so being me as the Adhyaksha, okay, and keeping me as the Adhyaksha, this Maya will create the Chara and Achara, this world. So this Maya creates everything. So then she starts dancing like a dancer with Sahita Samaja, with all, you can say Samaja, you can say as the orchestra, or what is accompanied with her. So we saw in the previous dohas, her troupe are what? Kama, Krodha, Matsara, and all these things. This is Maya's Parivara. So, and then Soyi Sachidananda Ghanarama Ajabhigyana Rupa Baladama. So first Maya is described by Kakabhushandi. Now Kakabhushandi is going to describe who is that Mayapati. Okay, and who is that Mayapati? That is Bhagavan Sri Ramchandraji. And who is the Sri Ramchandraji? Here Kakabhushandi is using all Vedantic words to describe him. So he says, so is Sachidananda Ghana Rama. So that Rama is Ghana Ram, Ghana Sachidananda. So mass of Sat Chit Ananda. That is existence, consciousness, and bliss. Sat is that which is not dependent on anything for its existence, knowledge or bliss. So that is Sachidananda. And this Sachidananda Bhagavan is Aja. He is unborn. And Vijnana. So he is of the nature of knowledge. Rupa, Vijnana Rupa, that is in the form of knowledge. Bala Dhama, and he is the abode of all the strength and might. Then he is Vyapaka Vyapya, Akhanda Ananta, Akhila Amogha Shakti Bhagavanta. So he is the one who is Vyapaka, one who pervades. And Vyapya, he is that which is pervaded also. So Vyapaka and Vyapya. So in Narayana Suktam, it is chanted, Antar Bahishcha Tatsarvam Vyapya Narayana Stitaha. So the Lord Narayana resides pervading everything within and without also. And what is he pervading? Tat Sarvam. So that means both Chetana and Jada, that sentient and insentient world, he is pervading. And so that's why it's a Vyapaka Vyapya. He is the pervader and also pervaded with. Then Akhanda. Akhanda is, unbroken, undifferentiated reality. So the real meaning of Akhanda, you can say, is the description of the Shanti mantra that we chant, Om Purnamada. So the Supreme Parabrahman is complete, okay, without any breakage. And he is self-sufficient. And he is all-inclusive also. And so that is why we say Akhanda, undifferentiated reality. And Ananta. Ananta is Ananta. There is no end. Okay, so endless. That means he is infinite. And then Akhila. Khila means something missing. Some shortcoming is there. Akhila means nothing is missing. He is Sampurna, that Bhagavan. And Amogha Shakti. And he is the, his power is something, it never goes away. Okay, it is what you call unfailing power that he has. That is called Amogha Shakti. And then Bhagavanta. Bhagavanta means he is the nature or the abode of all fortunes. That is Bhagavanta. Then Aguna Adhabra Gira Gotita Sabadarasi Anavadya Ajita. Aguna, guna, aguna, without any gunas. That means he is attributeless. He is without sattva, rajas, and tamas. Adhabra, that means he is not small. So he is Mahan, he is vast, he is big, he is great. Gira Gotita, he is beyond the grasp of Gira. Gira means speech. That means, it is not possible to describe or do any stuti of him completely. So he is beyond the words also. That is why Chinmayanda Swamiji used to say, to define God is to defile God. So if you try to define God, you won't be able to do it. Actually, you will be polluting, you'll be spoiling that only. And then go tita. So go is senses. Atita is beyond. So you cannot grasp Bhagavan through our senses. Okay. So, and then Sabadarasi. The Sabadarasi, you can take two meanings. One who is the illuminator of all, or you can say Samadarshi also. And Anavadya, he is free from all blemish. That means he is nirdosha. There is no dosha at all in him. Ajita, Ajita means Ajeta. Ajeta is invincible. Okay, he cannot be conquered by anyone. And continuing, Kakabhushan says, Nirmama, Nirakara, Niramoha, Nitya Niranjana Sukha Sandoha. Nirmama, so free from all sense of mama, minus. Okay, and that means attachment. See, when you say, he is Nirmama, he doesn't have any possessiveness. See, if there is more than one, then you can possess something, right? But when Bhagavan is all alone, okay, he is undifferentiated reality. We said that one, right? As a Akhanda. And he is all only one. Then who is he going to possess? There's nothing else other than him. And there is, so you can say there is no possessor also there. So there is nothing to possess. So Nirmama, Nirakara, Akara, without any Akara. That means it does not have any definite shape. So you say formless. Nira Moha. So free from this Moha, free from attachment, free from delusion. Nitya, he is eternal. Niranjana, Niranjana means stainless. He is free from any kind of stains, we call untainted here. So see, even though he is pervading, still he is untouched, untainted by this guna and dosha of those that he is pervading. We say Bhagwan is like space. That's how we can compare. Apart from space, you cannot compare Bhagavan when it comes to the pervading quality of Bhagavan. Okay, in the space, we see the fire is burning, so there is smoke and there is good odor and bad odor, everything is there, but the space is untouched by it. So that is why you call it Niranjana, untainted. And Sukha Sandoha, so he is the very bliss itself, is that Bhagavan. Prakriti Para Prabhu Sabaura Basi Brahma Niriha Biraja Abhinasi. So Prakriti Para means beyond. So he is beyond the Prakriti, the nature. So he is transcending the realm of Prakriti, that is three gunas, and Prabhu. Again, this we saw that Bhagavanta, it is the name, same thing. That Prabhu, he is the Lord of everything. Sabha Urabasi. Ura is, your heart. So he lives in the heart of everyone. That is why you call, he is Antaryami. He is taking his abode in every creature. Brahma. What is Brahma? It says Bruhatvat Brahma. That is, he is infinite. He is the biggest. And Niriha, free from all desires and actions. Niriha means Aptakama. Aptakama means one who is totally satisfied. That means he does not have any desires, that he wishes to gain. So in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, Nana Vaptama Vaptavyam. So there is nothing that is unattained by me, that should be attained. That means he is full, he is total. And Biraja, Biraja is, Raja is dust. Biraja without any dust. That is, here dust stands for Kama and Karma and all those things. So he is Shuddha, he is pure. Avinashi, so imperishable. So he cannot be destroyed by any method. Iha mohakar karana nahi Ravi Sanmukatama Kabahuki Jahi. So Kakavashin says he is that Brahma Swarupa and there is no room for any kind of moha. So there is nothing in this world that can delude Bhagavan Sri Ramchandra ji. And so he gives the example just like Ravi Sanmukatama Kabahuki Jahi. Can darkness ever go in front of that bright, brilliant sun? Okay, so here, so the darkness is Moha and the sun is Bhagavan. So can the Moha go in front of Bhagavan? No, it cannot. So same way here, can the darkness ever go in front of that bright, illumining sun there? Actually, the sun doesn't know what is darkness. So if suppose if somebody goes to sun and says, sun, you are very, very bad because all the time you are dispelling darkness. Then the sun will ask, which darkness? Because it does not know what is darkness at all. So in that case, how can any darkness cover that brilliance of the sun? So why is this Kakabhushan is telling all these things to Garudji? Because Garudji got deluded, right? And he had heard that the Bhagavan is Brahman. Still, in the Ranalila, when he saw that Indrajit shot that Naga Pasha and Bhagavan became bound by that one, and then at that time, Garudji was telling, what is this? Is Bhagavan so powerless? No, he is not powerless, but he is Amoga Shakti. So that is what Kakabhushandi wants to say, that there is no question of any limitation to Bhagavan. There is no question of any delusion that would pervade Bhagavan. So if you don't know that Bhagavan is playing this role, then you may doubt that Bhagavan has this and that and all those things. But he really does not have any of these things. Bhagata Hetu, but why does he behave like that one? So he says, Bhagata Hetu Bhagavana Prabhu Rama Darevu Tana Bhupa Kiye Charita Pavana Parama Prakruta Nara Anurupa. So it is only for the welfare, Bhagata Hetu, for the welfare of the devotees, for the sake of devotees, or you can say for the love of the devotees, okay, that Bhagavan assumes this Tanu Bhupa. Tanu, he assumes a human form, and here he is Bhupa. He has come as the king, human king here. And taking that form, Kiye Charita Pavana Parama Prakrutanara Anurupa. And taking that human form, he did many, many wonderful leelas, and which is Pavana Parama, which is very pure and holy. And how Prakrutanara Anurupa, like an ordinary man, he acted. Why? Because he has taken the human form. So he wants to behave like a human only. So that is what he is doing here. Okay. Sita, you want to chant the next one? Asi Raghupati Leela. Oh no, I'm sorry, there is one more doha here. I'm sorry, I forgot about that one. Jata Aneka. Jata Aneka Beshadari, Nrutya Karayi Natakoyi, Soyi Soyi Bhava Dekavayi, Apanu Hoyina Soyi. So just like there is an actor or a dancer, and that person may be a man or a woman, he assumes, okay, different roles. And when he assumes that, he wears different costumes also. So whichever the costumes they are wearing, accordingly, Soi bhava dekavahi. According to that, they express all types of feelings and etc. So example, if a person is playing the role of a Ravana, okay, so that character Ravana playing, he has to act like Ravana only, but that actor does not become Ravana. Okay, so apanu hoina soi, but he himself will never become that role that he is playing there. And he always remains free from the role that he is playing. But those people who do not know what is this infinite Brahman is, what is Paramatma, and whenever that Paramatma is playing all these roles, and when they don't understand that, they get deluded. And in their own, because of they get deluded, they superimpose their delusion on Bhagavan. So Bhagavan is like this, Bhagavan is like that, so they keep start saying that one. So Bhagavan is not come by delusion, he is not covered, okay, he doesn't have any delusion, but people seeing him acting like a human being and showing all kinds of feelings and everything as a human being will, as a human being goes through, people think, that he is, Bhagavan is also deluded. So that is what the Kakabhushandi is telling here. And we will see why he's telling all these things also. So, Sita, can you go with the Asaragupati Leela?
असी रघुपति लीला और गारी तनुज विमोहनी जन सुखकारी जे मति मलिन विषय बस कामी प्रभु पर मोह धरहि इम्य स्वामी नयन दोष जा कहाँ जब होई पीत बरन ससी कहाँ कह सोई जब जेहि दिसि भ्रम होई खगेसा सो कह पश्चिम उयउ दिनेसा नौकारूढ़ चलत जग देखा अचल मोह बस आप ही लेखा बालक भ्रम ही न भ्रम ही ग्रहादि कहीं न कर कहीं परस्पर मिथ्यावादी हरि विषय एक असमोह विहंगा सपने हो नहीं अज्ञान प्रसंगा माया बसमति मंद अभागी हृदय जमन का बहु विधि लागी ते सठ हठ बस संशय करहि निज अज्ञान राम पर धरहि काम क्रोध मद लोभ रत ग्रहासक्त दुख रूप ते किमि जानहि रघुपति मूढ़ परे तम को निर्गुण रूप सुलभ अति सगुण जान नहीं कोई सगुण सुगम अगम नाना चरित सुनि मुनि मन भ्रम होई सियावर रामचंद्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय उमापति महादेव की जय बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय.
Thank you, Sita. Thank you.
Welcome.
So Kakabhushandi continues and he says, Asi Ragupati Leela Uragari Danuja Bimohani Jana Sukakari. So here the Kakabhushandi is telling Uragari. Who is Uragari? Uraga is a snake. Ari is the enemy. Enemy of the snake, that is Garudji. And even you take this Uraga, how does this Uraga means snake? See, Ura is chest. Ga means moving, going, Gamini. So the one that moves on the chest, that is snake. And the enemy of the snake is Garudji. So here, Kakabhushandi is addressing Garudji as Uragari. So, Asi Ragupati Leela Uragari. So the Leela is the same. Bhagavan, does not do Leela for different kinds of people, different kind of Leelas. Okay, it is the Leela is the same. But what happens is Danuja Bimohani Janasukakari. The Asuras, they get deluded. That means, those that means what? The ignorant people also, you can say. They are the one who get bimoha. It is not just moha. It is vishishta moha. It's super moha. They get deluded completely. But jana sukha kari. Who is just jana? Here you can take it as bhakta jana, devotees of Bhagavan. So devotees of Bhagavan also see the same Leela, but they don't get deluded, and it is for them it is sukakari, it is joy giving. They enjoy Bhagavan's Leelas, whereas people who are deluded, okay, they get people, those people who are deluded, they think Bhagavan's Leela, seeing that one, they think Bhagavan is also deluded there. So they get confused totally. Jemati malina bishaya basa kami prabhupara moha dharahi imi swami. So those who do not have that clarity of the knowledge, that is mati malina. So their mind is impure. So they don't have the proper knowledge, and also bishaya basa. So they are also under the power and the sway of sense objects. And kami, they are full of desires also. Then what do? Prabhupara moha dharahi imi swami. So they superimpose some doshas and moha or brahma on Bhagavan only. So they put limitations on Bhagavan. So those minds, which is stained, are impure by the worldly materialistic desires, they superimpose on Bhagavan this moha and Brahma. And how do they do that one? Quite a few examples are given here. One, so you can count, but I did not count how many. So the first one that is given here, Nayana dosha ja kaha jab hoyi, pita barana sasi kahu kaha soyi. So when some person has got some defect in the eye, okay, like what you call jaundice. So for jaundice person, everything looks yellow only. So pita barana sasi kahu. And when he sees the moon is so bright and brilliant, but he will see only yellow there. So the defect is actually in your eye, but you see all yellow, and that defect is not in Bhagavan. It is not in others at all. Prakashanandaji, cuts a joke here, and he says that, there was a woman, a friend was visiting another friend. So both are women, okay? And the friend of the house, the one who lives in that house, and she saw her neighbor was hanging some clothes for the drying on the what you call on the line, okay? Then she called her friend and she said, look how she has washed her clothes, stripes and stripes and stripes of dirt. And the friend, she looked and she said, you know what, the stripes are on your window. But she was saying the clothes were dirty. So it is in your eye, but you see the defect on the other thing. Jabujehi disi brahma hoyi kagesa sokaha pachima uyavu dinesha. And when a person is deluded, regarding the directions, it's like me. I don't know which is, when you're driving, I don't know whether I'm going south or north or east or west. I have no idea. That's why I'm so happy for this GPA. When you get lost, you just put go home and it will take you home. Okay. So a person who is confused about all the directions and he's not clear, then he says, so kaha pachima uyavu dinesa, and he says the sun is rising in the west. So that means Rama doesn't have any delusion, but it is you who are deluded. Okay. And another example, Nauka ruda chalata jagadeka achala moha basa apuhi leka. So say somebody is sitting in a boat, or you can take it as a ship, especially ship. Okay. When you are in the ship and the ship is moving, but you feel it is stationary, and you see and you think all the other things are moving and you are not moving there. So you superimpose that movement on something else. Achala moha basu apuhi leka. So, and then Guruji gave this. Guruji says there were two fools. They were sitting in the bus and they were sitting next to the window. And when the bus started moving, one looked down, through the window, the road, and he saw the road was moving fast. So he said to his friend, look, we really got cheated. What all we should have done was just stand on the road, that the road would have moved. And why are you sitting in the bus and pay this fare? So like this, our bhranti is that now we think the other thing is the thing that is moving, but actually, the bus is moving. The road, if the road also starts moving and the bus wants to move, it cannot happen. You have to have something. The substratum should not be moving. So, but here, because of bhranti, they think like that. Now he gives the example of children. Balaka brahmahina brahmahi gruhadi kahahi paraspara mityavadi. So sometimes, children go whirl, they round and round and round and round. And then for them, it appears like all the buildings are moving, even when they stop. But buildings are not moving because he has this chakkar. So he feels that they are moving. So here, all these examples are given to show that limitation of one thing, okay, or attributing of one thing, or you're superimposing one thing on someone else. Okay, so it is not true. So we are deluded and we superimpose our delusion on Bhagavan. And then what happens? Kahahi paraspara mityavadi. So they call each other a liar. So no, this is what it is. Bhagavan is like this. But and I say, no, he is not like that. He is without any moha and all that. No, they'll say, no, liar, you're a liar. See how he is behaving. So this kind of argument when they have, they are known as Mityavadi. And Hari Vishayika asa moha bihanga sapanehu nahi ajnana prasanga. So Kakabhushan says, Hari, Hari, remove. So Bhagavan doesn't have that kind of attachment or anything to this world. And or you can say this kind of delusion is not there in Hari. When he is but people will still say that. So for example, we have seen how Parvati ji got deluded when he was searching for Sita ji. And so she felt, if he is Bhagavan, wouldn't he know where Sita ji is? So ignorant people at that time, they think like that. And they don't understand this is the Leela of Bhagavan. And Kakabhushan says, Sapanehu nahi ajnana prasanga. Bhagavan has no ignorance, even in dream also. That means he has no ignorance. Even an iota of ignorance is not there in him. Maya basumati manda abhagi hrudaya jamanika bahubidi lagi. Maya basumati manda abhagi. But totally under this Maya's control, or taken over by this Maya, this Matimanda, the dull-witted and unfortunate people, abhagi, they are covered. Jamanika means, coverings. So they are covered with what? Like what we saw Maya's parivara, kama, krodha, lobha, and all these things, they become like the covering on them, so veiling on them, and they're not able to see the truth here. And Kakabhushan calls them te sata hata basa samsaya karahi nija ajnana rama paradarahi. So they are sata, that means they are foolish, hata, they are stubborn, and basa samsaya karahi, and they keep on doubting, and nija ajnana rama paradarahi, and their ignorance they superimpose on Sri Ramchandra ji, and they attribute that ignorance to Sri Ramchandra ji. Samshaya. What is samshaya? Samyak shiyate yasya. Shiyate is sleep. So when the knowledge goes to sleep, there comes all kinds of doubts and everything. Kama krodha mada lobharat gruha sakta dukha rupa tekimi janahi ragupitihi mooda paretama kupa. So those people who are totally given to kama, krodha, mada and lobha, that is desire, anger, arrogance and greed, and gruha sakta. So the ones who are extremely attached to the house. See, when we say attached to the house, nobody is attached to the brick and mortar. Okay. But people who live in that house, we call as a family. So you are attached to them. Okay. That is Groha Sakta. So in Kapila Gita, who is that? Kapila Muni, he tells his mother about this moha, attachment. And he says, Atmajaya Sutagara Prabhu Dravina Bandushu Niruda Mula Hrudaya Atmanam Bahu Manyate. So if one becomes happy and satisfied through Atma Jaya, that is his own wife. Jaya is wife, Suta, the daughter, Agara, the house, Pashu, the cattle, and Dravina, the wealth, and Bandushu, to the society and the family, relatives, and all that. He is considered to be he is in the most distressed condition. Why? Because it keeps him in this materialistic world only. And what is the, at the time of distress, that is at the time of death, what is he thinking? He says, Aho me pitaro ruddho bharya balatmajatmajaha anata mamrute dinaha katam jivanti dukkhita. So he, on the deathbed, he is lamenting and he is saying, Aho pitaro ruddho, oh my poor old parents, and my bharya, my wife, and balatmajatmajaja atmajaha, that is the child in the arms. That means, there is a small child also, and many other younger children. Anata mamrute dinaha. When I die, okay, they all become, like a anatha, orphans. Who is going to protect them? Katam jivanti dukkitaha. So they will suffer so much, and this way he starts suffering. So a householder whose heart is completely overwhelmed with the family attachment is never satisfied also. He constantly keeps meditating on his family, and when he dies, he enters the darkness of ignorance. So such a person is known as Gruha Sakta here, extremely attached to the house. Dukkha Rupa, which is all sorrow only. So it's a Kama, Krodha, Mada, Lobha, Rata, Gruha Sakta, all this is, is sorrow only, Dukkha Rupa. Tekimi Janahi Ragupatihi Mooda Paretama Kupa. And when they are like that, how can they understand the true nature of Bhagavan, Raghupati? Mooda Paretama Kupa. They are actually fallen in the well of darkness, ignorance. And the next, in this next Doha, it is very interesting the way Tulsidas ji says here, Nirguna Rupa Sulabha Ati, Saguna Jana Nahi Koi, Sugama Agama Nana Charita, Suni Muni Mana Brahma Hoi. Nirguna Rupa Sulabha Ati. He says, Bhagavan's attributeless form, Nirguna Rupa, is very easy to gain or very easily known also. But Saguna Jana Nahi Koi, Saguna form is very hard to understand. So that means Nirguna is understood easily, whereas Saguna, to understand, it is very hard. That is Saguna, the Bhagavan's form with attributes and the leelas and all these things, it is very hard to understand that one. So that is what here you can say the Tulsidas ji or Kakabhushan is saying this one. So we might start wondering how is that possible. So see, when we talk about Saguna and Nirguna here, it is when we take the Saguna form, it is not just the avatars that Bhagavan takes. And this whole world is in the form of is the form of Bhagavan only. So he has manifested as a Bhagavan. So, and this world is also changing all the time. So it is not easy to understand. So that way you can take the meaning. And you see, even though like if you take Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna stayed with Lord Krishna all the time. And who is Krishna? He is the Saguna Sakara Rupa of Brahman. But he could not understand him as Bhagavan. He considered Bhagavan as his Sakha. Okay. And just a human being also. But only when he was granted the Divya Chakshu, he was able to see who really is that Krishna. So that's why he says in the 11th chapter, Ajanata Mahimanam Tavedam. So I did not understand your greatness. Now I understand. So in that way, you can say that Saguna, to understand Saguna is hard. When it comes to Nirguna, it is easy. I'm going to explain to you a little more about that one. Let me finish this Doha. Sugama Agama Nana Charita. So Bhagavan's Charita is Sugama and Agama. It's easy and also it is very difficult also to understand. Suni Muni Mana Brahma Hoyi. Even the Muni's mind, they also get confused regarding the Saguna form of Bhagavan. So now let us see a little bit about this one, okay? See, many times it is said that Nirguna sadhana, see the word sadhana, okay, is more difficult than Saguna sadhana. Even in Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna asks, is it easy to do the sadhana of the manifest or unmanifest? Bhagavan says, unmanifest is very, very hard. Manifest, you can do it, especially for a person who has this body. So that, he's said it in the 12th chapter, Bhakti Yoga. He said, Kleshodi katarastesham avyakta sakta chetasam avyakta hi gatir dukkam deha vadvira vabhyate. And even when we studied the Purajana Gita, Bhagavan Sri Ramchandra ji said the same thing. He said, Jnana Panta Kathina. Okay, that Jnana Marga is very hard, but Bhakti is Sugama. But here Tulsidas ji is saying Saguna is difficult and Nirguna is easy. How is that? Okay. See, as far as the sadhana is concerned, the means, okay, then their Nirguna is very difficult because you have to withdraw all your senses, all your mind, and from the outer world and concentrate on the formless, the nameless Bhagavan, that self, that Atma. Then it is very difficult. But in Saguna Sadhana, you see the form with your eyes, and with speech you can chant the names of the Bhagavan also, or you sing, and you use your hands to do the puja, to worship. So Saguna Sadhana is easier. So that way, when it comes to sadhana, Nirguna sadhana is difficult, but Saguna sadhana is very easy. So Gnana Marga is difficult, but Bhakti Marga is easier. But here, what he is talking about is understanding. Understanding Saguna path and understanding Gnana Marg, Nirguna Marg here. So here, Understanding Nirguna is easy because there is only one. Okay, Nirguna Bhagavan. So he is that, what you call Nirguna, Nirakara, Nirvishesha. No name, no Rupa, and no Upadhi. So that way it is easier, because there are not too many things that you have to understand here. But in Saguna Rupa, what happens? How many forms he takes. And this whole world is himself only. So can we all know everything about him? We won't be able to know. Okay. Even after lifetime after lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, if we try, still we cannot understand him at all. So Guruji says, you can count how many drops are there in the rain, but you can never count the Bhagavan's Leelas, the number of Bhagavan Leelas. Rama Ananta, Ananta Guna, Amita Katha Vistara. So he is infinite. And how can you really count? So that is very difficult. So that is what Bhagavan is telling. See, even in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan says in the Vibhuti Yoga, after giving so many Vibhutis, you can see me like this, and I am this in the trees, I am this in Japa, I am this among the human beings, I'm the Arjuna, and all these things he says. But in the end, he says, I cannot actually narrate all of them. So you understand, wherever you see this Shakti, wherever you see this brilliance, that's where I am in every place. Okay. So that is why understanding, that word is very important. Understanding the Saguna Rupa is very hard. But when it comes to Nirguna Rupa, understanding is easy. So you can give lots of example. You go to Bhagavad Gita and you talk about Sthita Prajna, okay, the Lakshanas of Sthita Prajna. So who is he? The one who is the same in joy and sorrow, one who does not become dejected or elated, all these things. See, these are all gunas, okay? So you can understand those things. But he is, when you see that Sthita Prajna as a Saguna with the form, it's very hard to understand him, because he is just like any other human being. He will get angry, he will cry, he will do anything, just like we all do. So it is hard to understand, hey, he is a liberated person. He is a mukta. Okay, he is Jivan Mukta. But outside, the body does the normal things, like just like you and I do. So it is hard to understand that. So there is a Guruji talked about a person who was a great learned professor in philosophy and all that. He had a guru who had a Jivan Mukta, and he had great respect for that guru. But once in a while, he used to see this guru fighting with his brother. And he always wondered, he's a Jivan Mukta. Why is he acting like this? And one day when he walked in, he was fighting with his brother. And, to make him realize, as if the professor wanted to make him realize that you are a Jivan Mukta, okay, he asked, please explain to me this Krodhat Bhavati Sammoha. That means the delusion arises because of anger. So that guru, he just smiled and he said, come, I will tell you what it means. But first, let me finish my drama with my brother. I know you are thinking I'm angry and I'm fighting with him and all that, but it is a matter of some principle only. He is fighting and I have to fight back also. So then the professor understood, okay, as a human being, he has to do all these things also. So he said, I understood what it means. Krodhat bhavati sammoha. I don't need any explanation. So that is the Leela. See, how will you understand Bhagavan's all the Leelas? So when here, Kakabhushandi or the Tulsidas is telling, understanding the Nirguna form of Bhagavan is easy, but it is hard to understand. Saguna form makes sense here. So this is what he is saying. He is not talking about sadhanas. He is talking about understanding. It is there's no way you can understand Bhagavan's Saguna Sakara form and his Leelas completely. So that is what he is telling here. So when we read the translation, we start wondering, oh, how come it is said like this? We always thought Nirguna is very hard. Yes, it is hard when it comes to sadhana and realizing. But when it comes to understanding, okay, Nirguna is easier because there's only one. You just have to know his lakshanas, that's about it. But when it comes to Saguna, it is very hard to understand. I hope you understood what I was trying to explain here also. Okay, continuing. So here, after the 73, okay, anybody wants to chant? No. Okay. Let me go ahead and chant this one then. Okay. सुनु खगेश रघुपति प्रभुताई, कहूँ जथामति कथा सुहाई। जहि विधि मोह भयउ प्रभु मोहि, सो सब कथा सुनावउ तोहि। राम कृपा भाजन तुम ताता, हरि गुण प्रीति मोहि सुखदाता। ताते नहीं कछु तुम ही दुरावउ, परम रहस्य मनोहर गावो। सुनहु राम कर सहज सुभाव, जन अभिमान न राखहि कावो। संस्कृत मूल सूल प्रदनान, सकल शोकदायक अभिमान। ताते करहि कृपा निधि दूरी, सेवक पर ममता अति भूरी। जिमि शिशु तन ब्रन होई गोसाई, मातु चिराव कठिन कीनाई। जदपि प्रथम दुख पावई, रोवई बाल अधीर। व्याधिना सहित जननी, गणति न सो शिशु पीर। तिमि रघुपति निज दास करहि मानहि तलागी। तुलसीदास ऐसे प्रभु ही, कसन भजहु ब्रह्म त्यागी। सिया वर रामचंद्र की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। उमापति महादेव की जय, बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय। Kakabhushandi continuing, he says, Sunu Kagesa. So, Isha of the Kaga, that is the king of the birds, O Garudji, Raghupati Prabhutai. Now, listen to the greatness of Bhagavan Sri Ramchandraji. Kahahu Jatamati Katha Suhai. So, I will tell you a beautiful story to the best of my understanding. Okay. Jahi Bidi Moha Bayavu Prabhu Mohi, Sovu sab katha sunavavu tohi. So what is this, the story? And it is this story, if Garudji is asking, what kind of story are you going to tell? So Kakabhushandi says, I'm going to tell you the story of my own delusion. So Garudji wonders, you also got deluded? Of course I did. I also got deluded. And what kind of delusion was that? So that I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you the whole story. See, normally nobody wants to talk about their own doshas. Remember, when Garudji went to Narada to get his doubts cleared, he thought of his moha that he came across, but he did not say a word about it. And when he went to Brahmaji, Brahmaji also did not say, how he was deluded also. Okay, but here Kakabhushandi wants to share about his delusion. Why? Just to show how compassionate Bhagavan is towards his devotees. So that is the reason he is sharing his story about delusion. And he says, Rama Krupa Bhajana Tumatata Hariguna Preeti Mohi Sukha Data. And why I want to tell you? Because you are a great recipient of Sri Ramchandraji's grace. And also, you have such great love for Bhagavan also, and you want to listen to Bhagavan's gunas also. So therefore, it gives me a great pleasure, okay, great joy to tell you about my delusion. So therefore, I want to tell you. Tate nahi kachu tumahi duravavu parama rahasya manohara gavavu. So therefore, I don't want to hide anything from you. I don't want to keep anything secret from you. Parama rahasya manohara gavavu. So this story is like a rahasya, and it is a captivating secret. It is not like some scandalous secret or things like that. But this is manohara. It is very delightful, and when it is delightful, it will fill your heart with love and devotion only. So sunahu ramakara sahaja subhavu jana abhimanana rakahi kavu. So before telling this story, or before telling this secret, first Kakabhushandi wants to tell about the nature of Bhagavan. Then he will come to the story. So what is Bhagavan's nature? Jana abhimanana rakahi kavu. So here Jana, remember I said Jana here in Ramcharitamanas, that means Bhakta Jana, the devotees. So when his devotees develop abhimana, some kind of a pride or ego, na rakahi kavu. So when they have developed that, Bhagavan makes sure that it does not stay in their heart. He wants to remove that arrogance. He wants to remove that pride. So he sees to that one. So we already have seen when the Narada Muni got deluded, thinking that he has won over the kama, and how he removed it. Even if he has to suffer, he doesn't mind, but he wants to remove that delusion. Okay. And Samsruta Moola Sula Pradhanana Sakala Soka Dayaka Abhimana. So he wants to remove, because Abhimana, this ego is Samsruta Moola. It is the very source. It is the very root of Sansruta. Sansruta means samsara here. Okay, that is, Samsruta means Srushti. What is Srushti? Birth and death. So this Abhimana becomes the root of this samsara. And it is Sula Pradhanana. It is the giver of Sula, that is pain, of different kinds of pain. And Sakala Sokadayaka, and it causes all kinds of grief also. So if you say Sula Pradhanana, what are the different kinds of pains, that it says here there, it is Avidya, Asmita, that is egoism, Raga and Dvesha, likes and dislikes, Abhinivesha and Moha. So when it is all these things are there, what happens? Ishtahani, Anishta Prapti. So there is the loss of your desires, and you gain Anishta. So when these kind of pains are there. And so therefore, Tate Karahi Krupanidhi Duri Sevaka Para Mamata Ati Bhuri. Therefore, that Krupanidhi, that compassionate Lord, he removes Duri. He removes that pride and ego and arrogance, all those things that comes to the devotee's mind. It doesn't mean, let me go and get a sip of water, I'll be right back. Sorry about that. And sevak par mamata ati bhuri. Bhagwan has got so much love, mamata, love and affection and concern for his sevaka, that is for his devotees. Jimisisu tanabrana hoi gosai matu chirava katinaki nai. So he gives the example here. He says, say a child has a boil on some part of the body, which is painful and it is infected also. Because of that, the child is going through so much pain. So at that time, mother does not hesitate to take the child to the doctor and let the doctor cut open that boil. Katinaki nai. So she becomes like stone-hearted at that time. For why? Because she does not want the child to go through that pain there. Like that, even Bhagavan is like that. Jadapi pratama dukha pavayi rovayi bala adhira vyadi nasahita janani ganati na so sisu pira. So even though the child goes through a lot of pain, terrible pain, and rovayi bala adhira, and the child cries because of anxiety and the pain, but vyadi nasahita, because she wants to remove that pain from the child, she wants the child to be cured. Janani ganati na so sisupira. So at that time, mother does not pay any attention to the child's crying. And she knows this has to be done, and she does it. Timi Raghupati Nija Dasa Kar Harahi Mana Hitalagi Tulasi Das Aise Prabhuhi Kasana Bajahu Brahma Tyagi. So in this way, Timi, Bhagwan Raghupati, also for the welfare of his devotees, for removing their ahankara, sometimes by very, very harsh methods also, but he will make sure to destroy that one. And now Tulsidas ji says, Aise Prabhuhi Kasana Bajahu Brahma Tyagi. Then why one should not worship such compassionate Lord, giving up all Brahma Tyagi, giving up all the wrong notions. That means one should worship that compassionate Bhagavan. So now Kakabhushandi starts the story now. So the story about his delusion, that is the next one. Sita, can you chant?
Yes, Gita, I will do it.
Okay.
1 minute. राम कृपा आपनि जड़ताई, कहो खगेश सुनहु मन लाई। जब जब राम मनुज तनु धरहि, भक्त हेतु लीला बहु करहि। तब तब अवधपुरी मैं जाऊं, बाल चरित बिलोकी हर्षाऊं। जन्म महोत्सव देखूं जाई, वर्ष 5 तह रहे उलो भाई। इष्ट देव मम बालक रामा, शोभा बपुष कोटि सत कामा। निज प्रभु बदन निहारी निहारी, लोचन सुफल करऊं उर्गारी। लघु बायस बपु धरि हरि संगा, देखूं बाल चरित बहुरंगा। लरिकाई जहाँ जहाँ फिरहीं, तहाँ तहाँ संग उड़ाऊं। झूठनी परई अजर महा, सो उठाई कर खाऊं। एक बार अतिशय सब चरित किए रघुवीर, सुमिरत प्रभु लीला सोई। पुलकित भयउ शरीर, सियावर रामचंद्र की जय। पवन सुत हनुमान की जय, उमापति महादेव की जय। बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय.
Okay, we will stop here because we won't be able to see the whole thing. So it will be in the middle of the story that I will be cutting. So let us to see the whole story in the next class. Okay?
Can
Yeah.
I have?
Yeah.
Gita, maybe in the next class, this is Nirgun Sagun. Can you just look into it? I have a little more explanation.
Okay, if you have any questions, I can clear that one.
How I just like it's not sitting in my mind. It's like put you that this is the because I don't know how to explain it. So I know you said it's a sadhan, because of sadhan they are saying they are different.
Yeah. See, when it comes to sadhana, but here, two words that we have to remember, sadhana and understanding. Understanding nirguna, understanding saguna. Okay, so that in that way it is hard, because understanding nirguna, when you see the sthita prajna lakshanas, what is his lakshanas? So we say, okay, these are the lakshanas, but we are talking about only his lakshanas. We are not talking about him as a human being. With that lakshanas. As a human being, he is like us only. So, and of course, the vasanas and everything is there. So he will get angry. Or, he might cry. Or he might, whatever the thing that he might want to eat more. And then you wonder, he is a Jivan Mukta and he doesn't have any control on his body or what? And he get angry. How can he get angry? He realizes that, the whole world is that Atma. All these things we start thinking because of this, his Saguna form. But we don't understand, he is Jivan Mukta. Okay, and he knows everybody is, but in a Vyavahara, he has to behave like that. So that's why, even Guruji used to say, I lived with Gurudev for so many years, a Jivan Mukta person. And it was very hard to understand him. So when the word we take understanding, then Saguna is very hard. And when we try to understand the Saguna of Bhagavan, it is much more harder. See, because everything changes, his avatars change, okay, and when he himself
Sorry, I'm interrupting you.
Yeah,
but I have a Isht, then I have a Isht, like a Radha ji or Krishna. So I will the Sagun will be doing Sagun only, right? He won't be thinking. So his mind is set on the, doesn't matter. I agree with you that many avatars are there and everything is there, but his mind is set on that Sagun Roop of God.
Yeah, but if you want to know, see, that is only one aspect of Bhagavan. Okay, but if you want to know everything about Bhagavan, that Radha Rani and
you can know everything.
Huh?
By Gyan,
that's what he's telling. You cannot know. That is why it is hard. You can never know everything about Bhagavan.
Neither way.
No, in Nirguna, yes, you can know him.
That's what I'm asking. Yeah. You can?
You can, yes. Because he is Nirguna, he doesn't have any gunas. And Nirvishesha, and Nirvikara, and all those forms, when you understand that one, and you can know him as that. You can understand him.
But not you're knowing somebody, you're not finding anybody like that. Right?
Why do you say you
all these nice things are with the God only?
No, even that's why we call him Jivan Mukta. Even human beings can become that Atma. They can realize they are that.
But at the same time, they can behave like a normal person.
That is because of their vasanas. Once they become Jivan Mukta, they don't die. They have to go through their prarabdhas. So they still continue to be a human being. And if a person dies, when he becomes a Jivan Mukta, then nobody is here to tell what is Jivan Mukti. So, and when you said, Ishta Devata, yes, we confine ourselves to one particular God because we want to concentrate on that one. That is true. But here what is said is, if you want to know everything, if you want to understand everything about Bhagavan, it is not easy, because this whole world is himself. Okay, it's not only when you see that when you see this mithya, world is mithya, but we still see this world, and this world keeps changing, and also you cannot understand unchanging thing, and on top of it, it keeps changing also. So that is the reason this Saguna form of Bhagavan, it is very hard to understand totally. That word, totally.
Okay.
Okay, but Nirguna, you can understand because there is no change. This is it. So some of these words that are given for Nirguna, that is the same thing. It never changes. And it doesn't become, today is Brahman, tomorrow is something else. No, he doesn't become that also. Once you know him completely. I know it is hard to, but you have to digest that one and keep thinking about that. It will come to you. Okay. So the one thing, that's what I said, 2 words you have to understand. Nirguna sadhana is very hard. It's very hard to mind control, and keep the world away, everything. But Saguna sadhana is easy. You can do the chanting, you can sing, you can do the puja and everything. But when it comes to understanding, Saguna understanding is much harder than Nirguna understanding. So those are the 2 words you have to see here, sadhana and understanding. So here what is talked about in Sri Ramcaritamanas is understanding the Saguna form of Bhagavan.
In Hindi, like a sadhana and samajhna.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, sadhana and samajhna. Samajhna is very hard.
Harder.
Yeah. Okay?
Okay.
Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Hari Om, everyone.
Hari Om. Thank you.